Okay, so first of all, I've re-downloaded the Letterboxd app after trying it before and not understanding how to use it. My username is just Sean Holden, and I'll link it in the description if I remember. So have a look for it, but after you've watched the video, thank you very much. Also, if you can't tell, my hay fever is on a madness right now, and so that's why it sounds like my nose is blocked. Because it's blocked. Anyway, Mirror is the greatest film you've never watched. It's essentially my job now to convince you to watch it. Obviously, there are going to be spoilers in this video, but the film is really not so much about the story, which is incredibly abstract and non-linear, but more about the experience. I'll explain in due course what I mean by that. Essentially though, this film is poetry in motion, and it hurts how good it is. If you don't understand what I mean or think I'm spewing pretentious nonsense, essentially this film is a dying man's dreams and memories presented to us as if we're inside his head. A lot of the time the storyline doesn't make sense, but think about your own thoughts and dreams and emotions. It's never clearly constructed and linear, it's all over the place. For example, look at this scene. Just a cut of wind blowing through the bushes and trees. Tarkovsky himself said that this scene has no meaning, it's about how it makes you feel, an uncomfortable nervousness and unease about what is to come. Another way to look at this film and properly enjoy it is to think of it as a piece of art rather than a story. Looking too deeply into understanding its meaning leads to missing what you are supposed to appreciate, the feelings and emotions it brings out of you as you just sit back and enjoy it. Its structure has been said to more closely reflect a musical piece than a narrative film. Tarkovsky plays emphasis not on logic, but on form and the flow of events. Okay, and I understand the irony of me expressing the idea that this film is meant to be felt rather than explained, and then me proceeding to explain the film, but I'll try my best to keep it all ambiguous for you. Right, enough nonsense now, let's talk about the film. Mirror was truly a labour of love for Tarkovsky. He made 32 versions before approving the 33rd and final cut. It was initially met with a mixed reception and a small release, with no official premiere, and it had lots of audiences walking out on the film, but those who stayed sang its praises. Now, looking back, it's looked upon a lot more fondly, with English author Will Self declaring it as the most beautiful film ever made. It's perhaps so beautiful because the film's so personal to the director. He reflected and incorporated a lot of details from his own life in the film, through his stories and his father's poetry, and so on. According to the British Film Institute, in 2002 a Sight and Sound poll saw Mirror as the 9th best film ever made, ranked by 358 acclaimed directors including Martin Scorsese, Guillermo del Toro, Francis Ford Coppola, Tarantino and Woody Allen. Although if you've watched my other videos, you'll know how I feel about Woody Allen. Regardless, there's no higher form of flattery than to be so highly ranked by some of the world's best film directors. If I remember, I'll link the website to the rest of the rankings in the description. Given how unordered this film is, I think I can talk about it relatively chaotically. At least that's my excuse. There are two scenes in the film that stand out for me the most, and are honestly unrivaled in how they make you feel. Before I show you, let that sink in. This film is spoken all in Russian. I am in awe of how Tarkovsky's direction transcends language, and we can receive all this emotion and understanding through image, tone, text, and music alone. But okay, now I say that is quite a lot of variables, but you understand what I mean. It's in another language and it still moves me, so it's still impressive. Okay, so this one is the most profound in my opinion. The monologue from the narrator as the camera moves around the house. Following the camera, we are told an emotional story about the main character's childhood. This one is really resonant and feels personal to us as the audience. I feel like we can all relate to what he says here. Apologies for the poor quality, but it was hard to find a version with subtitles.
Мне с удивительной постоянностью снится один и тот же сон. Он будто пытается заставить меня непременно вернуться в те до горечи дорогие места, где раньше стоял дом моего деда, в котором я родился 40 с лишним лет тому назад. прямо на обеденном столе, покрытом белой крахмальной скатертью. И каждый раз, когда я хочу войти в него, мне всегда что-то мешает. Мне часто снится этот сон. Я привык к этому.
Okay, sorry, but I got a cut here for copyright reasons. I feel bad for interrupting, so I'll shut up and I'll let you continue.
И когда я вижу бревенчатые стены, потемневшие от времени, и полуоткрытую дверь в темноту синей, я уже во сне знаю, что мне это только снится. И непосильная радость омрачается ожиданием пробуждения. Иногда что-то случается, и мне перестают сниться и дом, и сосны вокруг дома моего детства. Тогда я начинаю тосковать. Я жду и не могу дождаться этого сна, в котором я опять увижу себя ребенком и снова почувствую себя счастливым от того, что еще все впереди, еще все возможно.
Again, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I gotta put food on the table, you know. I don't even know if the studio will be claiming this content, but it ain't worth the risk. Moving on. Okay, this scene terrified me. I would use expletives, but I'm gonna try and keep this as family friendly as possible. What it is throughout the whole film, there's a strange edginess and uncomfortability. And the first time I watched it, I felt uneasy throughout. The peak of this came with this scene that I'm about to show you, and nothing particularly scary happens, but there's just so much suspense built up, and you expect something terrible is going to happen. Anyway, I'm going too far now. Watch the scene.
Это Россия, это ее необъятные пространства поглотили монгольское нашествие. Татары не посмели перейти наши западные границы и оставить нас в тылу. Они отошли к своим пустыням, и христианская цивилизация была спасена. Для достижения этой цели мы должны были вести совершенно особое существование, которое, оставив нас христианами, сделало нас, однако, совершенно чуждыми христианскому миру. Что же касается нашей исторической ничтожности, то я решительно не могу с вами согласиться. Положа руку на сердце, разве не находите вы чего-то значительного в теперешнем положении России, чего-то такого, что поразит будущего историка?
Ой, я, кажется, не туда попала.
Don't you think that was really scary? Also, I wanted to mention, if you missed it, look at the steam fading away, as if to suggest that the woman who disappeared wasn't a figment of the boy's imagination. But what's interesting is, it creates a similar feeling to the Coen brothers when they made us watch the sweet wrapper slowly unfold after Anton Sugar placed it down on the counter in No Country for Old Men. It's that feeling that we know we've been here too long, we've been focused on this one object for more than a normal amount of time, so we start to analyse it, and that's what led me to suggest that this woman wasn't a figment of the child's imagination, but she really was there. Anyway, I could talk forever about the little details of this film and how strange they are and how much I don't understand them. And there's so much more I could say about this film. The use of black and white versus colour to indicate our current position in the timeline, the unique use of wartime footage, the beautiful poetic runs and long take sequences. But again, that would be going against Tarkovsky's policy of not understanding the film and just feeling it like a piece of art, leaving it open to interpretation. We're getting on a bit here in terms of runtime, and I don't want to show you the whole film or completely bore you to death, so I'll finish here. I hope you do go and watch this film. I'm pretty sure you can rent it on Amazon for something like £2, and you seriously won't regret it. Let me know in the comments if you've already seen it, or if you do go and watch it, let me know your own thoughts.